imagine what it must have been like to transport goods and people in and out of Jacksonville in the late 1800s? Now listen, as the driver and a local merchant attempt to calm and reassure a very nervous and excited Mrs. Margaret Savage, who is embarking on her first stagecoach trip. The year is 1883.
Well, hello there. You must be the relief stagecoach driver. I'm Margaret Savage, and I'll be taking the stage today to Sacramento.
Good day, ma'am. My name is Luke Taylor, and I'm at your service. Today looks like it's going to be fine for the day. A great day to travel. And the stage from Portland should be along soon and right on time.
Well, I'm just a wee bit nervous because this is going to be my first stagecoach trip. When my husband James and I came west in 1852, we were newlyweds, part of a wagon train from Illinois. There were 32 other families with us that made that journey, and we all did a lot of working. I think this is going to be so much easier. Tell me, what is it like to pass over the Siskiyous?
You know, stagecoach, mule trains, and horseback were the main means to cross the Siskiyou Mountains from here. There's always been mudslides and washouts in the spring. I don't think it'll be too bad this trip, although it was a lot of snow last winter. They closed the roads a few times. It might slow us down a bit, but we should be able to cross over the pass and straight into Sacramento with no trouble. Don't you think so, Mrs. Nichols?
Oh, yes. The stage comes through here regularly, bringing goods from my store. I don't think you have to worry much, Mrs. Savage.
10 years ago, Samuel Thurston spent 4 years pleading with Congress for money to improve our roads. But back east, they use waterways a lot to get people and goods around. But they don't understand that our landscape is so different here. And in the old days, our supplies first arrived at Port Orford or Crescent cities. And we had no good roads to get to the Rogue Valley. And it was hard going to get anything to Jacksonville.
And you know, even though the road is narrow and steep, it was a great day when they connected Oregon to California over the Siskiyous at Cole Station. And you know, the pack drivers, they come through regularly too. Several packs came through here on their way to Yreka last week. I think there were 3, if my memory serves me. The drivers and the mules were fine, although I did hear that some of the wagons got stuck in the mud and had to be dug out.
You know, when the Applegate first opened their immigrant roads from Idaho to Southern Oregon, they were bitterly criticized for exposing the pioneers to such hardships and suffering. The roads were very steep and just wide enough for a wagon. And I'll never forget we rode the trip west with ox-drawn wagons lumbering along at 2 miles an hour, and maybe we'd cross 20 miles on a good day. But on difficult days, it was more like 5 or 10 days traveling. And at times, some of the rivers was running so high and fast they couldn't be crossed. Then we would have to lash groups of wagons together and pull them across by a rope.
I remember it well. We had to remove the teams and the wagons and tie a good strong rope to a tree to act as a drag when we were coming down some of the steeper slopes. Then we'd pull up on the other side, reload the wagons, and move on. It was back-breaking work. I hope your stage won't slide down the mountains, Mr. Taylor.
Oh, you don't have to worry. You won't have to get out of the coach, excepting when they change teams.
Oh, and how often is that?
Every 5 or 10 or 15 miles or so. I'll have to change the team just once before we get to Cole Station at the California line.
Well, that sounds good, doesn't it, to me? I'm wondering, if I'll be able to use the facilities there when we get there. And what about my money and my jewelry? I've had stagecoaches are often robbed.
Well, you don't have to worry about your valuables. You can put them in the safe box that the driver carries up under his seat. And if there is any trouble, they don't call him King of the Whip for nothing.
Well, I certainly hope he lives up to it.
Well, a few times I had a Wells Fargo agent ride next to me carrying his new Colt revolver. I don't think it's gonna be too much trouble though. Don't worry, little lady, I ain't never been robbed. But I know a few others who have. I'm always careful when we're moving along real slow around curves and bushes because robbers will jump out the bushes waving their guns and demanding that we throw down the box. You know, Cornelius Beekman carried gold dust and letters and crossed the Siskiyous at night and was never held up.
Well, now I do feel better hearing that you've never been robbed. But is there much drinking on the stage? I've heard such stories and you can't be too careful.
Well, Wells Fargo posts rules for passenger behavior on every coach. But they do ask you not to drink, but if you do, you gotta share.
And if there's ladies on board, gentlemen are asked to forego smoking their cigars and pipes. They can chew tobacco, but they have to spit with the wind, not in. And no foul language either.
Seems like I'm going to be quite safe on the stage, but maybe just a little bit cold. I wish I'd remembered to bring a blanket with me.
No need to worry, little lady. We got plenty of buffalo robes on the stage. But if anyone decide to hog them, I'll teach them a lesson he'll never forget. He'll have to ride up front with me.
Oh, I remember a trip I was on recently. There was a gentleman, he was quite the snorer. Oh. And he kept trying to put his head on my shoulder when he was sleeping. And I had to be careful, though, because he was carrying a gun.
A gun?
Yes, passengers can carry guns just to use in emergency. But you can't just shoot at wild animals or anything like that because you may spook the horses. If you spook the horses, you might scare the passengers and the passengers jump from the coach. And they'll be at the mercies of the coyotes and hostile Indians. And I don't want that to happen.
Oh, you seem to have thought of everything. And I'm glad you're going to be my first stagecoach driver. But tell me, have you seen many Indians?
Oh, you know, the pack drivers tell me they haven't seen any Indians since those Indian wars a while back. And you know, the prices are really good too. I've been getting great goods from my store, and some of the other merchants said that recently they got flour for $1.20 a pound and tobacco for $4.50.
Oh, well, now that reminds me. Just last week I met Lindsay Applegate, who has the franchise for the Siskiyou Wagon Mountain Company that operates that new toll road. He said that it was very well used.
Yes, ma'am. Over 3,000 people a year and goods cross through that road every year. You don't have to worry about the toll, though. Your toll is included in the fare.
News is that folks back east are taking the train.
Oh, aren't trains wonderful? I'm taking the train from Sacramento back to Whiteside County, Illinois, to visit my family. I haven't seen my cousins Fergus and Fiona for 30 years, and they were just bairns then. I never ever thought I'd be able to see them again.
Look, there's the stage now, with Stagecoach Bill driving a brand new Concord coach with yellow wheels and 6 horses today. Looks like it's going to be a mighty fine day.